Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like it o'clock. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. I'm doing it like this because I got a letter from Bernard Bankweather from Newfoundland. Dildo, Newfoundland? Really? Is that a really thing? I think he's kidding. Actually, it's a real place, I think, but actually somebody from there. Anyways, he said, you need to get more excited when you do your videos. It's going to bring, if you look at all the other guys, like there's a guy named Steve Dangle, and he's like this all the time. So I'm going to get more excited. No, I think it's a good, thank you, man. Thanks for, I haven't been as excited as I normally have. I don't know why. I think I'm just getting so comfortable with everybody. That's why. Our picks yesterday, you can go check them out at BPAL Picks. We did yesterday. Well, we took Columbus. It was only one game. So we took Columbus. And we got it. We got Columbus. Our Patreon people, I made a mistake. I took an under yesterday. But no big deal. They got the Columbus on the ML. I'm going to be sending parlays like crazy today. I can tell you that right now. There's a little interesting tidbit. If you go over to Patreon right now, you'll get this month free. You can go peruse, check it out, subscribe to one of the tiers, and we'll give you your money right back. You can check it out, see if you like it, all of those things like that. Connect. And remember, this is something that I hadn't brought up, and this was actually in the letter as well. The fact that I'm going off into other lands like Patreon and all of those sort of things like that doesn't change the fact that I'll be going to your land, and we will be taking you in, we'll go into the Patreon/YouTube sensation jet. We don't know what we're going to call it now. We got to YouTube sensation. Well, we'll have to think about that. Maybe you can give me a comment down there in the comment section and tell me what to call it. But we'll be going into the jet, and we'll be heading to your land, and we'll be taking you to games and all of those things in our Hummers. And I think, did somebody say they wanted a Lotus? Whatever you like. Tell me in the comment section what you would like us to pick you up in. What's your favorite vehicle? And we'll get that done for you. Absolutely. Also, I haven't mentioned, again, I'm going to do this early because I've noticed that the like button has been kind of ignored. And we still have the deal where if you get 100 likes between BPAL picks, and I'll put the BPAL pick down there in the bottom so you can go over there, and this video, we will do a draw for $25. Our subscriber list is getting a little higher over at Patreon. That will likely be going up. So yeah, the more subscribers we get there, the more the draw will be. We do draws over there as well, and we're going to be doing competitions, and all that kind of stuff is going to be fun. Also, I said I was going to do it. Maybe I'll do it now. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. Let's just try it for fun. Let's just try it for fun first, because I haven't cleared this with B. Let's see how many people can get involved in this. Put your parlays down in the bottom, and we'll see who nails their parlays every day. Put a 3-pick parlay. We'll see who nails their pick. I want to give this a shot, see if it's going to work. And if it works, we will do a parlay competition here on my channel, and we'll give money away for that too. So it's so much Frolic. I can't even, it's so excited. Oh, by the way, something that you should do every day is you should probably love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. It's funny. It was back when I was in my Christian type thingamajigger. I was going to church all the time. We used to go, we used to have this one place downtown where we fed the people that were there, they could come and eat and all that kind of stuff like that. And it was fun. And what I learned about that is there's lots of food here where I live. People can eat everywhere, but what they really like is companionship. But this is the shirt we used to wear. And I still think we should love our neighbors. And I think I should. I think you guys do that. By the way, since we're all on this love thing, let's namaste together, shall we? Namaste. Namaste. That means connecting with our divines. Okay, let's get to the games today because there are a ton of them. These are leans, by the way. My actual picks you'll find at BPOW at 2 o'clock, or you can go over to Patreon, subscribe, and you can get them right now. What I'm going to be doing is also saying the influence of what the trade deadline had on these picks, and then you can make up your mind which way you want to go. For the Bruins and the Flames is the first game. The Flames picked up Forbort and Gustafsson. Forbort from LA and Gustafsson from Chicago because Hamonic and Giordano got hurt. Giordano is like their best defenseman. I think he did win a Norris. And Hamonic is a guy they picked up from the Islanders. Good defensive player, solid top four guy. So they're pretty concerned. They're right on the bubble. And they went and got Gustafsson, which is primarily an offensive defenseman. Has a little problem in his own end. And they got Forbort, who is the exact opposite. So I imagine they're going to play them together on that fifth spot. How does that affect this game? Well, it gives the Flames more of an opportunity to win this game for sure. The Bruins, on the other hand, are they picked up Kasha, and I think that was it. But that was a nice pickup for them. The Flames lost to the Bruins the last time they played. I think this is going to be a really strong game. I think you're getting good money on the Flames here. The value looks pretty darn good. My actual pick you'll get at 2 o'clock, but there's a couple leans here on sort of where I am. I think this could be a very close game. I'll give you that. Okay. Canucks versus the Canadiens. The Canucks did most of their stuff before the trade deadline. In fact, I think all of it. They picked up Toffoli, which was a very big pickup considering Brock Besser, they're one of their best wingers, is going to be injured for the rest of the season. Since they picked him up, he's played very well. The Canadiens were very weird at the deadline. They traded Nate Thompson for a fifth, which is a fourth line guy. I can kind of understand that. They probably have younger players that can fill that role. And then they trade Kovalchuk to Washington for a third for a team that I just didn't get a lot of it. Maybe he thinks he's going to do a better job getting what he wants for his players in the summer, and they're just going to roll with who they have. But these things, how this affects the room. The Canadiens might have some idea that they believe in them, and that's the reason why they didn't trade here. They could keep this kind of close. The Canucks have been rolling very well. They have a lot to play for. It's going to be an interesting game. Again, I could see this being a close game. And if you want to see who I picked to win, you can go over to the Patreon and find out right now. Or wait till 2 o'clock this afternoon and you can get them then. 2 o'clock Eastern time, that is. The Leafs versus the Bolts. Well, we got to talk a little bit about this. The Leafs, of course, had the embarrassment of the century, losing to the Carolina Hurricanes with the Zamboni driver. I didn't really get into the extent of why that is so amazing. Like, that goaltender is cold, never played NHL competition in a game before, and they got 7 shots for the rest of the game. Now, there's 2 things that can happen here. The Leafs can be fighting off this embarrassment and they're going to go bust their ass against the Bolts, or they can still be in the funk that they seem to be in, and the Bolts could crush this. Which one is going to happen there? We'll talk about that. The Bolts picked up Coleman a little while ago, who's a good hard-nosed, can play up and down the lineup utility player who was putting up some decent offense in New Jersey. Probably won't put up the same in Tampa Bay. But they also picked up Barclay Goodrow from the San Jose Sharks. A really interesting pick. They gave up a first for him, who had in his career has primarily been a third or fourth, but there's always been this hint of offense possible there. All I know for sure, and they picked up Bogosian, who was a defenseman for Buffalo Sabres that fell out of favor there. He nixed his contract with them and took a lot less. Like, he really gave up a crap load of money. All he had to do was go to the minors and play out his $6 million, but he didn't do that. Give him credit for that. Not playing completely for the money. And now he's over at the Bolts, which gives him a hard-nosed guy. It's uncertain how much he's going to be able to play, but it's an element that the Bolts didn't have last year when they lost in the first round. Again, you'll have to wait till I get the picks. A lot of the reason why I'm not giving you the picks here is we don't know the goaltending here either. Bolts could be rocking McElhinney, so let's stay in that comment section. The comment section's been a little bit thin, boys and girls, and I'm kind of feeling a little down because of that. Let's talk. Let's connect. Rangers versus the Islanders. The Islanders at the trade deadline picked up a fellow named Pajot from Ottawa. Pajot in Ottawa was on almost a 30-goal clip. First time he's ever done that in his career. His shooting percentage is about 18%, and they gave up a lot for him. A first, a second, and a possible third if they win the Stanley Cup. But a first and a second for a guy who has primarily been a third-line player, maybe score 12 to 16 goals, something like that, is fairly high. However, and then they gave him $5 million a year. I like the guy. I like Pajot, but he's a third-line guy at best. Now, they lost Casey Cizikas, and I've been talking about this a lot. He was big for their team. Really big. Third-line guys have more value than people give it credit for centers. And now that they have them, this makes this a really interesting game. The Rangers, of course, had their fancy spanking new sensation goaltender get in a freaking car accident, broke some ribs, and won't be playing for a while. So they're going to be having Georgiev in net here. You're getting good value off the Rangers here. However, I'm not sure. I think with Island, it's going to be whether Pajot can fit in right away with the Islanders. Makes this a very interesting play. I'm going to give you some overs and over and unders here. I think this is at 5.5, so I'm a little uncomfortable being under on this game. It also depends on the goaltending. Flyers versus the Sharks. Sharks are very injured, been on the road for a while. Flyers are probably going to be rocking Carter Hart here, but if they're rocking Elliott, that's their goaltenders. I don't know. We'll see. But we got to see the goaltending here. The Flyers at the trade deadline, they picked up Nate Thompson, fourth-line guy, some depth. Didn't really go hard on. They basically just stuck with the chemistry of the team, which makes sense because they were rolling pretty well. Again, I'll give you the picks on this you can get the picks on this at 2:00. Jets versus the Capitals. As I said, the Capitals picked up Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk is not going to play in the top 6 for the Capitals here right away. That's for sure. Their top 6 is already pretty much set, and I doubt they're going to do anything to change that. He will maybe play on their second power play unit, but he's probably going to play in the third line. It's kind of an odd pickup. The only thing I can say is maybe Ovechkin was really pushing for Kobe because there's a good Russian connection there now. You have Samsonov as their goaltender, Kovalchuk, and Ovechkin, and Kuznetsov. So there's a lot of Russians there. So this was kind of a chemistry pickup. Is that chemistry going to affect now when you got the Jets that have been rolling pretty good? Now they've been on the road a bit. The thing here is Holtby has been taken has been confirmed. I imagine Hellebuck's going to play here. Interesting dynamics to this game. Hellebuck can win this game all by himself. You're getting really good juice on the Jets. So I have a play here that you're probably going to be interested in when it comes out, when I have it. I'm pretty confident about this play of what I'm going to do here. So stick to that BPOW when it comes up. Devil's Wings. Now, here's a pick I'm going to give you today, okay? I'm going to give you guys a pick. The Devils are, the Wings lost Athanasiou, Green, that was it, I believe. But still, those are big losses. They're probably going to be putting Bernier in net, but the Devils are going to be putting Blackwood in net. Devils didn't really do much. They lost Simmons. Simmons isn't going to be that much of an effect to them. I still don't know why he went to Buffalo. I'm not sure why Buffalo did that. It feels to me like it sounds like he wanted to be closer to home. His daughter lives in that area, and maybe he's thinking about re-signing with Buffalo for that reason. So good for them, I guess. Good for him. But with all of that loss for the Wings and just the constant barrage of negativity that keeps on going there, I've liked the Devils' flow. And I've kind of said the Devils are going to be a better team in the second half, and they have been. I'm taking the Devils here, and I'm even going to give you a score. I'm taking the Devils 4-1. So you could almost go Devils PL here. It wouldn't be a bad play, or in reg or something of that nature. It's a nice, juicy little pick I'm giving to you totally for free. It's yours. It's all yours. Here you go. Here's the pick. Got it all wrapped up for you, even though you know what's in it. Okay. Blackhawks Blues. Blackhawks are, just seems like they've kind of given up. Their older players are really banged up by now, I would imagine. Their younger players are trying the best they can. They don't really have anybody playing for roster spots right now. It's a kind of an odd spot for the Blackhawks to be in. I don't know if they feel like they can make it, but trading Lehner tells me that they don't. And that is an indicator to the room that they're probably not going to make it. So the Blues, on the other hand, are rolling pretty strong right now. Binnington is playing in the old Binnington ways. He kind of went on a bit of a downturn there. They didn't do too much at the deadline. They picked up, what's his name from Montreal? Anyways, a defenseman to fill in for Bouwmeester being injured. Hopefully his name comes back to me. I don't know why it left me at the minute, but it doesn't really move the needle all that much. They're just playing four-line strong hockey right now. You might be able to get a lean out of what I just said. Sens versus the Preds. Sens on a back-to-back. There is they played hard against the Jackets yesterday. Actually, I thought they gave Jackets more of a go than I thought they would. The thing about the Sens is they traded Ennis and they traded Pajot, as I basically said. They've known for a long time that they were kind of not going to be in the playoffs, and that wasn't the main focus of this season. It was just to become better and better and better. But trading those players, they're now going to be playing players that are playing for contracts. And I think they're going to be playing very hard here. So the Preds better be ready to work, because I don't think they're going to get outworked here. The thing is, with Ottawa, they have Anderson in, and Anderson has not been having a very good year. So you might be able to get a lean for what I just said there. The Preds should be fresh. Jackets versus the Wild. The Jackets are on a back-to-back. Wild are playing very hard, harder than I've even seen them with Boudreau, to tell you the honest truth. Everson has got them playing really, really hard. They're playing for contracts. They're playing to possibly make it. Like, they got to go on a big run here right now. I think he's basically come out and said, let's just make a name for ourselves. We need to get it so people know who we are. When you go in and you say, the Wild, this is going to be one hell of a hard-working, determined team. And that's what they are. So it's going to be an interesting game with the Jackets here. Could be a little bit tired. I think Korpisalo will be in net. And I think you're getting really good juice on the Jackets here. So take a look at that one, I would say. The Jackets themselves, as far as the deadline concerned, really didn't do anything. They didn't have any picks to really work with or anything like that. So they're kind of rolling with this team this year, and I think they'll probably be heavy in the free agent market over the summer or making trades that they can get better, and they probably will, because Kekalain's a fantastic general manager. Panthers versus the Yotes. The Panthers, the whole thing with Panthers is Bobrovsky. If Bobrovsky plays well, there's two things about the Panthers. Bobrovsky, and they have a lot of high percentage shooters. I'll tell you this, I'm not a huge fan of high percentage shooters when it comes to when it comes to making picks. I'm not a big fan of betting against them. What I do kind of like about, I kind of think it possible could be an over here, except Kemper is in net for the Yotes. You're going to have to wait until 2 o'clock to get the full on this, because I'm not sure who the goaltending is going to be. Oilers versus the Ducks. Oilers did fantastic. They got Athanasiou, they got Green, they got Ennis. Ducks are pretty much on a down right now. They traded away some pretty good players. They're playing for contracts. Hard-working game. I think you might get a lean out of what I just said, and I hope you do. Dallas versus the Canes. I'm going to give you this one. Because I want you guys to make some money. The Canes are playing their third-string goaltender. The Ducks will probably be playing Bishop here. The thing is because they're playing the third string, Ducks don't normally score a lot, and you almost always get a 5.5 on them. The Canes have a high-powered offense, especially after getting Trocheck at the trade deadline. Interesting trade, by the way. They traded Holla and Walmart, who was having difficulty in the Canes system. I think he'll do better over at Florida. But having Trocheck, there's a lot of offense here. Bishop is a good goaltender, but if anybody's going to score on him, this offense could do it. And Dallas, who doesn't score usually very often, is now playing against, going against the third-string goaltender, probably Forsberg, or it could be Nedeljevich, but neither one of them has done well in the NHL. So I'm giving you a pick here. I'm giving you a pick of over. All right? There's 2 picks I gave you. 2 free picks, but if you want all of them right now, go over to the Patreon and we will provide it for you. Sign yourself up. If you don't like it at the end of the month, you can stop anytime you want. But we're so confident in ourselves, we're giving it to you for free to check it out. This has been a long video, but I hope you watch it all. I'm sure you did. Oh, here's some pearls for you. I didn't give pearls to anybody individually today, but wow. Like, subscribe, bell, just like that.